finally, the fourth P then of postponement of punishment / payoff. What did you mean by this?
Yeah, this one's great, actually. A perfect example is, and I've got a little bit about this in the book, is, if you like to go out and you like to have a bit of a drink, in the short term, you'll go to the bar, you'll have a few drinks, and, one drink leads to another, and you'll keep drinking without worrying about the fact that, if you keep having a lot of alcohol, the next day is just going to be a total write-off because you'll be hanging like crazy. So postponement of punishment is really about the fact that, if you procrastinate now, the consequences of procrastinating and putting things off are not immediate. So we don't really worry about it. We think, okay, well, I'm just going to delay this job application for another day. I'm not going to think about working on my CV for another day, and I'll be fine. And, rationally thinking about it in that way, it kind of makes sense, because if you're not going to get the consequences of not doing something now rather than later, if those consequences are delayed, then, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. You're not going to worry about something in the future, but when it does arrive, then that's when, people start panicking and getting into a whole mess. So postponement of punishment is really based on the fact that, if we procrastinate now, the consequences of it are far off in the future. So it's just easier for us to put things off because, we're not going to be punished for it today. We'll be punished for it in a couple of weeks or whenever the deadline arrives.
Or, as I know, people have been caught out with previous company I worked for there, the deadline for the graduate scheme was, say, the end of February. But they received so many applications that they actually brought it forward from the end of February to the end of the year.
Exactly.
So there are all these people who were putting it off, and then suddenly, oh dear.
Yeah. That's really interesting because, you're always going to be better off applying as early as you can rather than leaving things till later. And the example you just pointed out, James, is perfect because there's a lot of situations where if you're applying for a job, sometimes, like you said, they'll have too many applicants and they'll either shift the deadline or they might just close entries altogether. So it always helps just to get in as early as possible.